What's up, guys? We have another episode of the Kart Talk. We are joined by my right-hand man, Tabor. Welcome, Tabor. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Glad to be here for Kart Talk number 2.
And we are also pleasured with the addition, I think, hopefully permanently going forward, Sammy D. Welcome, Sammy.
What's up? Thanks for letting me crash and just insert myself once again.
Well, I think what I like about this dynamic trio is that we each have different perspectives on the game. You know, I came into the game late and am a pretty defined whale from that perspective. Tabor, you're a gold pass only / we'll get to here in a second, maybe a gold pass plus, and then Sammy D, you're somewhere in between this mid-sized dolphin. So. And then, you guys started relatively early in the game, much more before I did, which reminds me, I think last time I jumped into Sammy hearing your origin story, totally skimmed over Tabor, your origin story. So for those of you who haven't heard Tabor's story, by the way, I have to address this. New T-shirts came in, the Studfit T-shirts that I got because you're gonna there's probably the comments going through that not live say like, "What's up? Look at that, looks cool." The Super Stud members, they get this as part of their membership. And then we also will have Jeeves 2424 joining us in probably about 45 minutes or so as he is obviously allowed to be able to do as part of his membership. And if you're interested in those memberships, take a look at that. But Tabor, tell us a little bit about your origin story, how you got into Mario Kart, and how did you get wrapped up in this obsessive game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you want to talk more about your shirt before I go, you can do that.
Actually, I could do a spin around. You just do a little Vanna White.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So so I was kind of like Sammy. I was a 1992 start. I was all about Super Nintendo, and then Mario Kart came out, and I was just like, at that point, anything Mario was just the thing to do. And if you had a game that starred Mario, then you wanted to get it. But a racing game was kind of different for me, and I was kind of excited to see what that was all about. So I got that game. I started playing, and I was doing, I loved it, and I loved the split screen for 2-player and the rear view cam and all the different things that you could do with the time trials, and I was just in love with it. And I ended up finding, internet was in its infancy at that point, and shortly after that, and I was able to find this website that tracked people's best times on different courses, and it was pretty much an honor system, and pretty much you just had to write down your time that you had and submit it through email to this site, and then they ranked all the different players from the states and from the countries and from the world and things like that. And so I got to be pretty good with submitting those, and ended up being ranked pretty high. And then I actually stopped. I had regular Nintendo system. I got the Super Nintendo system, and at that point, I realized that they were releasing a new system every however many years, and I was just like, "This is just a big money scheme." And I was fine with where I was, and I stayed steady on Super Nintendo, and I just played the old retro games for the longest time. Eventually, fast forward, 20 years, I was coaching, and one of my athletes knew that I loved the Mario Kart on N64. So when he graduated, he actually gave me his N64 system plus Mario Kart, and then I started playing a lot more on that system and everything. And then I just kind of, I kind of stopped. I didn't get into the other systems or Wii or anything like that. I just enjoyed the retro stuff. And then I started getting into, I mentioned this last time, Madden Mobile. I was really into that for a long time, and I was the commissioner of a league, and we were in the top 15 or top 20 teams in the game, and I just got really burnt out on it. And as I mentioned before, just doing the dailies took hours, and I didn't have that kind of. And if I didn't do that, I was going to be behind in the game, and it was just the pressure, and I wasn't all about that life. So when Mario Kart Tour came out, I jumped ship. I said goodbye to that. I jumped into this, and I remember when I downloaded it, I was teaching. I wasn't teaching when I downloaded it, but I was teaching at the point. During lunch, I downloaded the game, and you know how you always get your first pull of the game, and it's the first pipe, and you don't have to do anything. And I got the first pull of the game, and I got Toadette.
I did too.
I was like, really?
I did too.
Really?
Yeah.
I got Toadette. Really? Out of all these characters.
Too,
yeah.
Oh, look at that. So we're the Toadette.
They only limited the first. I think the first pull was guaranteed to be either Toadette or Peach. And I know there was a chance to get a high end, but I think that came to like the second or third time.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, had I known, I could have just like I hadn't invested in anything in the game, so I should have just like started resetting the game,
re-rolling,
and then kept doing the same thing, go through the tutorial, and then pull again, and then hope for a high end. But I didn't know what was going on at that point. And I started getting into, really getting into this, and I started searching YouTube, and I found Abdallah. He was doing all kinds of stuff with Mario Kart early on, and I just followed him religiously and was doing all kinds of stuff. And pretty soon we got pretty far into the game, and I started tracking things on my tracker, and he invited me to join his Discord and be part of his Justice League, I think is what he called it. And I started doing a lot of things with that and getting some information from him and advice from him on what I should track and do different things. And, long story short, I ended up looking around for some other different videos, YouTubers, and I found Carlos, and I found Shiny Hunter, and I found Sammy D, and I found Shy Guy Kart. I found a whole bunch of other guys doing things, and I started jumping into their Discords, doing this and that, and pretty much what really, and I've been stuck on Kart Life for the longest time, but what stuck me with here is that I found what I was doing on the spreadsheet, which has been progressing much more than what it was when I was early on in Discard, is that like people started jumping on board and seeing what I was doing and really appreciating it. And I wasn't in it for the accolades or anything, but I really felt accepted and really embraced in the Kart Life community, and I really appreciated that because it was a lot of work trying to keep up with this every tour, and I saw people benefiting and really commenting about how much it helps their game, and that really made me feel good that I was contributing in some way, shape, or form. And I just kind of kept going, and so here I am, and I was talking to Studfit the other day about how much time it actually takes for me to update these sheets every tour, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but it's very time consuming every other week. I know most people are just waiting, and they're just waiting for me to reveal the top 10 and the top 15 and the daily and the limit break courses and the different things that I do there, and I'm fine with that. But with school starting back up recently for me. My time has been a little bit more limited, so just be patient. I will keep doing what I can as long as I can fit it in my time. And, I just really appreciate everybody's audience, Studfit's audience, and Kart Life, Sammy D's audience, and everybody and how they've embraced what I've been able to contribute.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback off that, I don't know if you remember
your shirt. You want to talk about your shirt again?
Well, by the way, brand new Studfit shirts.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
To piggyback off that, I don't know if you remember the first time I interacted with you, but I remember watching on one of Abdallah's, he mentioned like, oh, this is a top 5 glider. I'm like, wait, there are top 5 things? Like, this is amazing. Where is this? And then there was one day, and I never, that was just in my mind. I was like, that seems cool, whatever that is, whoever did something like that. And then I remember you would occasionally, just not very often, or maybe you just did it like the first or second time, posted like top 5 things, when someone brought up the topic somewhere on Sammy's server. And so I reached out to you and I was like, dude, like, I love this thing. And you're like, okay, all right, calm down, bro. Like, you're just a little too excited about this. I was like, can you do like top 10? And you were like, yeah, I could expand it to 10. That's cool. And then I was like, can you like track how they go up and down? He's like, that seems like a lot of work there, buddy. Like, I don't really know you that well. You're asking a lot of favors. But next thing you know, what I think I started talking about top 10 and brought you into the channel, and from then on, like, the audience cannot get enough Tabor. So thank you for all the hard work you do. Thank you for everything you put into every tour. It's a lot of work. I think you said something like 7 hours a tour, so that's substantial. So thank you for your hard work. It paid off. I did say this doesn't happen very often. I don't always necessarily want to talk about other content creators, but there was a question about Abdallah, so I thought that might be actually a good transition to our first question, For those of you who don't know, we do have these memberships. The sub membership, you get to submit any question, and we talk about it here on the Kart Life, Kart Talk podcast. This question comes from edietel, awesome edietel. Abdallah was the first YouTuber that I followed, and he always used to say that it doesn't make much sense to fall in love with new drivers, karts, gliders, and then go into those pipes to try to get them if you don't have the tickets to invest in them, because they might or may not have any value at a low level. But the pipes are fun and saving so hard, and you really like these characters the first day a new tour comes out. But now this, edietel in this situation, he has, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. I now have a large inventory of level 1 stuff that I rarely get to use. So what's the better long-term strategy? Is it to acquire new things as possible, or to save rubies, or work on leveling up things that you already have? So we'll pose that out for the first question. Whoever wants to take it between the two of you.
I've been thinking about that a lot, actually. It's funny if that's something, Abdallah may have said in the early days, and yet it's kind of the eternal question still. And I've been thinking about it a lot this week, just because, I don't know, it's just where we are in the game. I would answer that question by saying the best strategy is in any game. I know I've mentioned Survivor before, but Survivor is a game show I like because there's constant twists, and things keep shifting based on what you're given. And the only long-term strategy I have in this game is to evolve with whatever the game's doing. So, and there'll be times when, you do think you're doing the right thing for a few months, and then maybe, you shift course. But if you're always considering the different paths and different strategies, you can't go too wrong with any of your moves. We've all invested in things for maybe to win a ranked cup that didn't end up panning out long term, but you won that ranked cup. It got you to the next week. I'm all about getting to the next week, and without, depleting all my resources. But it is something I've been thinking about a lot. I said it in a video this week. It's just like a driver's only as good as a stack of tickets you have for him, And now that it's level 7, and someone like me who's pushing the edge constantly, pushing up against, like swimming with the whales, as I say sometimes, I have to have some level 7s now, and that's a lot of high-end tickets, and a lot of coins to buy them. So yeah, you do have to pick and choose and kind of go all in on certain people. I'm feeling that more and more as Party Time Lakitu still sits at level 1, Hakama still sits at level 4, stuff like that. So yeah.
Good points. Tabor, what do you think?
Yeah, so for me personally, I think there's a lot of wisdom in what Abdallah said. It's, these rubies are our premium currency, and for those people who don't always go in and buy rubies or buy packs to get rubies or whatever, it's you have a limited resource, and you want to make sure you use them as best as possible. And so in terms of tickets, I find that you use tickets really in two situations. One is at the very beginning. If you first acquire an item, odds are it's going to be very valuable for that tour, and you're going to use a lot of tickets to possibly bring it up. If you can see future value, or you can predict future value, or think it's going to have it, then you really want to, put some tickets on that. And the second time is kind of, there's a lull, between when it's first introduced, and then it kind of disappears as more things are introduced, but then it kind of comes back up. And you see the long-term value in its entirety. You see the tracks being added to it, and the buffs that it's being given to, and the different things, and so you start putting tickets on it there. So, you don't want to buy it. I want to say this carefully. You don't know what your ticket situation is going to be in the future, and if you only have a certain limited amount of time to be able to buy an item now, then even though you might have the tickets later on, you don't have that item and you missed your window. So I, for one, am just kind of an advocate of filling holes in my inventory. If I see an item that, I can see a long-term value in, then I'm fine sitting on it with a level 1 for a long time. And would you say this is from edietel?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, if you've got a whole bunch of level 1 items, the worst case scenario is that you're going to have a top shelf somewhere. Even if it's just a top shelf level 1, you can probably do something with that if push comes to shove, whether you're doing ranked or whether you're doing ACR or whatever. So again, though your ticket situation now might be limited, we don't know what Nintendo is going to reveal. Maybe there's going to be a lot more generous tickets later on where you're just going to boost your supply, and then you'll wish that you had those items that you passed on before. So I'm not saying you need to pull on every pipe, but I think we've all seen that just because, and in my stats, I always ranked, quote, the best pipes to pull, and it may or may not be true. We saw that with the LA Gold pipe. A lot of people just passed on that because it was old stuff. Yeah, there was a great idea. There was a great value of coins per ruby and some valuable items and some coin boxers, but a lot of people just didn't need them at the time. So sometimes the most valuable items are in the pipes that are not the most valuable because they're the most rare items. They're the ones that's going to be used the most. We saw that with Baby Mario Koala. We've seen that with Birdo Black. We've seen that with Pauline Rose, the ones that are the hardest to get. Sometimes those are the ones that are worth kind of taking a risk for because they're going to pay off.
Well, and then you get into the conspiracy theory of not only could they be buffing the drivers, crossing gliders that people aren't pulling, they could be buffing the ones that people aren't giving tickets to. Because, they have all of our stats.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly to what extent they're taking that data and making drivers on top shelf more than others. But I think, it's that would be smart for them, to do things. And I know, Tabor, you mentioned, like, hey, if I see a gap, then I'll go for it. But I think this question, at least what I'm reading into it, is like about, week one pipes. And oftentimes those week one pipes come with, a dead top shelf where you don't have anything. And some people are saying, I have to pull for it because I don't have a top shelf driver. And there are other people saying, hey, I really like this driver. I think it could be valuable in the future. All I know is like this one track that I need it for. And then it either looks cool or it like the skill. And, for me, I've typically taken the approach of, unless it has a great skill, I'm always going to skip a top 10, even if I like a cart, because it's going to sit on there for a while, and I would rather get a better high-end to ruby ratio. That's kind of what I make my decisions on. But recently, there's just been so many great skills. You like Lucky 7, Coinbox, Lucky 7 again. Like it's been hard to not go into these week one pipes. Even the baseball Mario, he's not got a great skill at all.
Borderline.
But he's an awesome guy. He looks awesome. He looks fun. He's got 64 Mario on his back. Like, how cool is that? No,
dude. It was hard not to go for it for me because of that, But you're right. I think skill, I always go for, yes, the must-have skills. And then I know that every 2 or 3 months, I'm going to drain a pipe for someone and guarantee. That's my whole plan. And then the YOLO thing with the YOLO tenor or whatever, that's actually been a really fun thing for me to try. I know it doesn't make sense to go into 100 pipes with a YOLO tenor, but if I do one every single tour, like half the time I get a spotlight, and then it's another extra option for me. But it's always about the skill, and Peach Happy is a perfect example of that. Let's talk about this tour because, like, you got to get her. But then if everyone gets her, and if they are going by that, then she might turn into the next Painter Luigi or even Tuxedo Mario. But Studfit, I appreciate that this year, I've taken it from you. Like you went all in real fast with King Bobby, and then you went all in real fast with Tuxedo. And I get that now because I think now that is what I feel drawn to do is to go all in when a driver is new and hot. But it's always changing. Tabor, what were you going to ask me?
Yeah, my strategy on pulling pipes has changed drastically since the beginning of the game, or even like a year ago. A year ago, I was just hoarding rubies, and I went like months without pulling on a single pipe because I was just waiting for that perfect pipe where I just had a great chance of getting a high-end item. And then I just, I went all in and I drained pipe, and I found out long term, like I'm missing all of these items that may or may not be good, and I just got these huge gaps in my inventory. And so over the last probably 6 months, I've completely changed my strategy. And I'm just, every now and then I'm just going to start throwing in these YOLO 10 pulls, or I just keep doing a 10 pull until I get one high end in a pipe, whether it's good or bad, or whether it's a spotlight or what. At least I'm trying to do something. I'm building up my levels on all the other items. I'm also giving myself a chance to get some sort of obscure item.
Getting coins.
And so I found... Yeah, I'm getting coins as well. So I found it's a lot, and I've found myself really filling up these top shelf gaps that I had before. Just getting items that I didn't feel like was important ends up really saving me in the long run.
Oh,
Studfit, did you pull for Happy?
I did.
Did I pull for Happy?
Studfit.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I pulled for her and got her.
So you saw
early.
her and you would pull as soon as you saw that skill.
As soon as I saw Lucky 7, I said I need to pull. I'm surprised. Like we just had some, like, to your point, Tabor. Like there are these tour after tour where you have a gap. Like there was a long time where I didn't go for the stuff around February, March, and I have a gap there. But then this whole summer I've had to pull on every 100 pipe. The last four tours, because it's something, the skill where I really like that item, and so with that being said, like I still don't have top shelf driver for cheap T. Like I'm using Mario swimwear at level 3, so it's very different. I will say it's in not everyone gets to see like what goes on in like the whale community, but obviously, I mentioned many times that I run ER, so I can see in that server. A good example would be Gamer Amy, arguably the best gamer player in the game. She's got every top 10 badge, and we'll be like, "Hey, did you pull on this pipe?" She's like, "Yeah, I got her 3 times." Like she went into that pipe like to get her 3 times to be able to save tickets, and like that would blow a lot of people's minds. Even blew my mind, and I'm a pretty big whale, so I think that there are just different ways that you approach a pipe based on your appetite for leveling things up. So I think that's why I love this. That's why I love having all of you guys with different perspectives. Now it's funny that we kind of bring this up because ThisBeChris asks a similar question. He said he just watched the week 2 pipe pull video. Would it be fair to say that your tiebreaker in the terms of investment in a driver, a cart, or glider would be how new something is, as opposed to how past it's been used in ranked, especially in the context of removing other variables such as skill? And the question might be a little tough to understand, but I think the question I'm going to reframe it as is like, Tabor, sometimes people criticize your top 10 list like a percentage of ranked. Because hey, if something was in ranked, does that mean that it's going to be in ranked in the future? Like how can you base future value on past success? And how do you when you're having to decide, like, again, in my situation, I think that he's referring to is let's say I think it was this Ninja Hideaway RT. I had 3 different gliders, all level 3. Which one do I invest in? Do I invest in the one that's been ranked most? Do I invest in which one's newer? And let's say that they all have the same coverage. It's like basically a tie. Where do you break that tie? And kind of to your point, Sammy, it's like, these Tuxedo Mario or this King Babam, do you invest too early and just hope that you kind of ride out that streak, or do you put tickets in Strawberry Donut or Blackberry Sale? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
I mean, incremental is always good. I love giving something to level 4 on the high ends because you get that plus skill. That's a nice. I mean, you can win a ranked with level 4 drivers if you grind hard enough. You know what I mean? And you have opponents like roughly in your area. The rest it just gets better and better from there. But I'll let Tabor speak to the past ranked, future ranked thing. I mean, that's something I've always wondered too, because I have a lot of questions about that. I've always wondered to hear more from Tabor about it. Because Nintendo at any moment could never bring a given track back again. You know what I mean? Or like go a year without a certain track. Choco Islands were everywhere all of a sudden, but I haven't seen a Choco Island in a few tours. Maybe we'll go a few more tours without one, I mean, I might be wrong on that, but.
Yeah, Tabor, when someone asks you why is percentage of ranked in your algorithm, what's your response?
Well, I mean, I try to be as comprehensive as I can with my ranks. And again, the way I have it set up is not necessarily the best way to do it. It's just the way that I'm comfortable with. And I know we've had a lot of discussions, Studfit, about the right way to weight things and the right things to include and different things. And, recently we included the hitbox or the size of the cart as part of that because we felt like that was an important aspect, especially since Coinbox is just so over the top compared to everything else.
Have you seen my t-shirt, by the way? Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, a couple times.
Coinbox is king.
I mean, I like to try to balance it a little bit, and I feel like my ranking is a good balance of past value, present value, and future value. The past value is what it's been in ranked, and I look at how many times it's been in ranked. I also look at the percentage that it's been in ranked, because we've had some of the older items like Mario Hakama or Pink Gold Peach or some of the older ones in the game. They've been in ranked obviously a lot more than some of the most recent ones, but then I feel like the percentage is also a good indicator as well to see what's been hot or what's been consistently
it shows that Nintendo likes this, and they are
exactly. And one of the ones that I meant to mention during Rundown that has just been given so much love recently is one that not a lot of people talk about because it's never been in our top 10 or even top 15.
I know exactly what you're going to say. No one ever talks about the black toe beans, so that must be what you're going to refer to, right?
No, well, recently. Not until recently they haven't. You're right. But no, Pauline Rose, I mean, she's just been on fire in terms of her buffs.
Wow,
she's been buffed a lot. She's been on... Yeah, you like that? Not Fire Rosalina. That's somebody different. Pauline Rose.
You like that?
Wow.
Keep going.
This is a true podcast now, isn't it? Wow. Sound effects. I'm just waiting for the wah, wah, wah.
Oh, I didn't find that one.
We could get a lot.
Sure
we could get a lot of good
I have a laugh track, though,
yeah.
So if you say something actually funny, I'll throw that on there.
Or you could just laugh yourself, but whatever. There you go. That's better. No, forget it. Laugh tracks probably sounds better. Okay, so...
Yeah. I think I think one thing Tabor's saying is like, I love looking at Tabor's like, biggest movers and shakers because, Pauline Rose is not a top 10 driver, but if she's been in ranked every tour for the past 5 tours, at what point do we say she's one of the most important drivers to get right now, so.
Right. And the same thing was true with Peach Explorer that I just kind of talked about a lot. I mean, she's going to be argued to be one of the most valuable ones, and her skill really kind of brings her down in my ranking. But other than that, I mean, she does really well. But like I said, past, present, future. The past is the ranked. The present is just kind of the skill that they have at that given point. How is their skill doing compared to all the other ones? What is their current value in the game? How much have they recently progressed? And then their future value is just what kind of buffs are they getting? What kind of loadout are they having?
And the skill.
Dry Bowser Umbrella recently got a 28th top shelf track added to it, and that just broke the mold in terms of the most. I mean, it's continuing to press forward, and obviously, just looking at statistics, the most courses that an item has, the more valuable they potentially could be. So that's the future, and that's one of the biggest reasons why city tracks are really. I enjoy City Tour as a player, but being where I'm at as the statistician guy is doing all the numbers, city tracks are just really misleading sometimes. Not until they get to the point where they start rotating them regularly, because it's hard to judge a brand new item like this, like Peach Happy's value, because they're introduced during a city track, so they've got all these city values, and what's going to happen in the future, I don't know. But they're not on a good start compared to the rest. I have, as you guys probably know, like a controversial stance on that. It's probably a topic for another episode, but I wonder if cities are becoming more common. They have become more common the past few months, past 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's going to continue happening. And I also, once again, if we're in a city week and I can win by investing in them, I'm going to do that, especially if they have a skill. And I think of the skill too as long-term future value, because if you have a high-level Lucky 7 driver, it's always going to pay off, whenever you use them, So for me, it's kind of come down to there's a list of the 4 or 5 skills that I am going to pull for the driver every time. Maybe that's a segue into the giant banana discussion,
Yeah, I think that might be a segue to bring in Natt's awesome question. I will say on top of that, I do think Nintendo keeps track of which items people are hesitant to put tickets into. Good example being, at least for me, was DK Jr. SNES, where I had him at level 1, and then there was a week where he was in ranks. I just threw a couple tickets on him, but I would say I was conservative with putting tickets on him. I think I might have had 6 or 7 tickets. I put 2 or 3 on him, and then he was in ranks 2 weeks later. I was like, you know what? I should have been afraid to put tickets on him, because he ended up benefiting. But I think Nintendo looks and says, we put him top shelf, and no one wanted to put tickets on him. We'll do it again. We'll do it again until everyone has him at level 6, and then we'll move on to somebody else and boost up that value. So I don't know. There is something to that where they're probably observing who has Pauline Rose or some of these drivers, and being able to say, hey, why don't people seem gun shy on putting tickets on them? Let's go ahead and ride it out and just make them kind of roll around in their seat until they wish they put tickets in it. But I do want to move to Natt's question because I really love the topic. It might take 30 minutes in of itself. So let's try to pull this up, and you guys tell me if you don't see anything. Come on, here we go. Let's pull it up.
Nice.
Hey, what's up, Jeeves?
Oh, Jeeves in the house.
Hello.
How's it going, man? Can you hear us?
What?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, so we were actually in the transition of talking about which type of drivers you go into a week 1 pipe, and then kind of taking it from there as to do you put tickets on something that's new over something that was past used and ranked. And so for those viewers who've already been watching it, we're not going to bore you, but that's where I'm trying to catch you up to speed of Jeeves. That's where we're at.
Cool.
I'm about to play Natt's video, so I think it's perfect timing, but it's having a hard time. Let's see if I can move it from preview to live. Press play.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just,
Yeah, man. No, thanks for joining us. I was going to say, your T-shirt. I need your address so I can mail you your T-shirt for being a super stud. For some reason, his video does not seem to want to play.
That's too bad.
I'll figure it out. But Jeeves, why don't you? While I'm trying to figure that out, why don't you introduce yourself to the community? Tell your origin story of how you found Mario Kart Tour, and I'm going to try to fix this issue.
Well, I think Mario Kart Tour was probably one of the blessings of COVID because I just kept playing more and more. I actually started getting into it more and trying to do some research on strategies through just Googling on how to get better scores and stuff. And actually the first person that I kind of came off was Go Shiny Hunter because he had some really good tips and stuff. And I know he's not doing as much with that now, but I still support his channel and stuff. But with his strategy videos, Sammy, you were one of the ones too. But yeah, and then I just got kind of caught on, just kind of networked through people who were into it as well. So,
did you play other mobile games, or did you play video games outside of?
No, this is the only thing that I play. And
nice.
One of the other reasons why I've kind of done it is because my kids think I'm cool when I play it. And stuff, and being a part of communities and stuff because they're into. Online gaming and stuff, but with the Mario Kart thing, that's kind of nostalgic. Sammy, you probably know.
Yeah. I play with my nieces, and it's so fun to teach them about the characters and stuff.
It's great bonding because I never thought I'd be because my son, he loves watching gamers play on YouTube. It's not Mario Kart, but just with Roblox and stuff like this.
Sure.
So I'm okay, well, Mario Kart Tour, it's something that I'm, it's nostalgic for me, and he thinks it's cool that I can interact with gamers on YouTube and stuff. So, I'm this is, and it's kind of cool to see with the communities because they're kind of all, older generation because Mario's been around for, years. So
you'll have to show him this video and see what he thinks. See if you're even cooler now, right? All right, hey, I finally got it working. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So we'll tune in. We'll hear Natt. Let me know if the volume or needs to be turned up or anything. But we'll also kind of interpret some of the video. I think his English is great. So, but we'll reiterate it too. Awesome. Let's jump in.
Good job on the first episode, guys. I enjoy every minute of it. I strongly believe that this kind of programs will keep existing players happy and will also attract new players. All of that will extend the lifespan of Mario Kart Tour, which is ultimately beneficial for everyone in the community. So thank you for that. Here's my question for the second episode. We all know that in this game we have to keep racing repetitively or grind until we get the optimized run. And Coinbox, Boomerang, Lucky 7, and Giant Banana are probably top 4 drivers in this game that people use for grinding because of their potential of obtaining high score. But let's not talk about which one is the most overpowered special skill. That's boring because everyone will probably say Coinbox. Let's hear you guys' opinion with regard to which special skill gives you a lot of fun when you grind and why. For example, for me, it's Giant Banana. Because every time when I get Giant Banana Frenzy, it's so much fun witnessing the bot hit my banana repetitively and seeing my score rising continuously when it happens. Giant Banana Frenzy is not cheap as it requires some driving skill to avoid our own bananas and to keep the combo continuing at the same time. I also like it that Giant Banana Frenzy comes out when we are front running so that we don't have to risk losing our leading position while trying to fish for defense. As always, guys, thanks so much for your contribution to the Mario Kart Tour community. Keep up the good work, and may the frenzy luck be with you.
Nat for president. Nat for president.
Gets my vote.
Great.
So, now, for some reason on this program, the video kind of cuts out the end. But he was saying, "May the frenzy luck be with you." I stole his quote, so I want to give him full credit. I've been enjoying saying that because I mean that's really why we play. We play for the frenzy luck. Talking about frenzies, talking about skills. We have to first start with Giant Banana. Is Giant Banana your number one favorite skill? And if not, where does it rank? And having used a lot of Giant Banana last tour, is there any tips or tricks that you picked up on using Giant Banana? How fun was it?
Are you aiming at one of us in particular?
It's open for the floor. I don't mind starting. Actually, how about that? One of the things I've been doing with Giant Banana, I love Giant Banana. It's so much fun. I wish they would give another high-end driver Giant Banana. And Morton's everyone's favorite, and he only has 2 tracks. But I think from that perspective, one of the things that I learned is, if you're going, even if you get like a coin frenzy on the first item box, there's oftentimes where I'd keep going. If I got to halfway through, I just reset because getting a Giant Banana off that first item box is massive. But here's the tip: is that when I go around, I don't try to weave through my bananas. I specifically go around the edge and bump into 2 or 3 bananas on my way through on purpose because, first of all, I don't want to accidentally bump one that's in like the middle of the road. But I also want to slow down because if I'm slowing down, then I'm getting more action counts. Because if you finish the race and you avoid all the bananas, then there's a couple of additional actions you could have got if you hadn't bumped into those. There's even times where I will hit the giant banana if there's still like a giant banana sitting there, just to spread it out. If a whole group of people went through and didn't hit that giant banana on the first way through, then it might not have been the perfect spot. But you spray 3 or 4 bananas around, probably higher likelihood that they'll probably bump some other people. So I don't know. That was my little takeaway. Something I learned. Go around the edge, hit your own bananas, slow yourself down, get a couple extra.
As long as the combo's keeping from other hits, you're saying.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you could drop combo if you get spun out. So I'm just saying, in a period when other hits are coming in from other bananas, you would do that.
Yeah, I mean,
or you graze into your coins on the way through. That's because you lose your coins as you spin out too. So grab those actions as well.
Yeah, so it's a good point. I would say that dropping combo is not as big of a deal as you might think.
Right. Yeah.
So I would rather slow myself down, get 2 or 3 more actions, surpass what I would be losing.
Controversial.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Tabor's grimacing over here.
Well, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because ThisBeChris asks, can you explain how dropping combo affects scoring?
And you've just researched this with Jay, I know.
Yeah, so I've been working on Jay with a project. I won't get into too much depth. To say that it needs its final touches is overpromising a little. It needs more than just a few touches. But Marco put a couple hours putting it together. Jay and I have run through it 2 or 3 times. I'm still not satisfied. I still want more examples. Our scoring system is very complex. But I will break down this answer. When you drop combo, you lose 360 points. That's it. Assuming that you are going to get all of the actions you would be getting. Like, let's say the time distance between actions drops, but you're still getting all those actions, then all you lose is 360 points. And that is a fact, because the way that the combo system works, and I can go in, you can just probably watch my video, but I'd rather lose those 360 points, which is equivalent to, a couple banana hits, and I would easily break even. But ultimately, the goal is that
I've lost ranked on 360 points, bro. I want those 360 points. I'm serious. I'm not going to miss anything if I can.
That's a great point. I would say that you'll make it up by slowing yourself down. Also, at the same point in time, I feel like if you're making a really good giant banana frenzy run, try to get past maybe the first 2 or 3 rows, and if you drop combo, most likely the bots have caught up and they'll bump into a banana or something will happen, and you'll probably keep combo. So hey, it's that part's debatable, but my main point is, don't try to go through it so fast in that second lap, because you
especially
can't
lap
get
2,
into
yeah.
shortcuts.
Or not even lap 2, but all these short tracks we have of like half the time. I mean, Tokyo is always so short. It's a nightmare to get the frenzies on this week's Tokyo, just because you overlap and the race is over before you know it. I love Giant Banana. I can't believe it's been almost a year without a high-end Giant Banana, and it only brings more disgrace to the whole Kong fiasco. It'll happen eventually. It's just like, can you make it happen again to get another high-end banana driver, please, that everyone go for?
So is that your number one skill? How do you feel if you had to rank it?
So I have a boring answer for now. I will preface it by saying, as the one who I think coined the moniker Boombox, I believe it was me. If anyone wants to provide any other evidence, fine. But I think
it was Sony, actually. I think Sony went with Boombox. But whatever.
Oh, wow.
Stuff it, come on. Where's the?
All right, hold up.
Come on, you're slacking it. You gotta have that finger on the key.
Stupid.
But no, as someone who was
no, interesting.
trying to put that
honestly,
idea.
I
love Boombox.
You were the first person that I ever heard saying that.
I love it. And other people were doing it. I didn't invent the idea of doing Boombox, because I quickly thought of it and found that a few people were doing it. But then we started talking about it. It really took off as a strat. And it is one of my favorite things to do. It is, of course, the most time intensive and grind intensive, but there is no higher exhilaration to me than an amazing Boombox run with those combo hits. The soundtrack can't even keep up with the hits. And I play with sound. I love hearing the combo, and like that helps me, and that's a great thing. But in general, I was trying to mention this to Kevin Garrett. Like any game, I want to know what the rules are, and I want to master those rules. So in this game, the rules are Lucky 7 and Coinbox and Giant Banana. These get the highest action counts. That is fun to me. It's fun to me to get the highest action counts. Does that make sense? Like, so that actual attempt to do that with any of these skills. I love Coinbox runs. I love going for Coinbox. I love going for Lucky 7. Any of these high scoring action runs. So it's kind of a boring answer, but it's what gets you the scores, and that's fun to me.
Yeah, Tabor, where does Giant Banana rank for you, and what would be your number one?
So my number one tip for Giant Banana is to have Mario Sunshine. That would help a lot, and that's kind of where I'm at. So,
do you have Morton? Do Free to Lose have Morton?
I have Morton and I have Donkey Kong, but neither of them have been used in ranked for eons. Yeah. So it's not like I have a lot of practice with Giant Banana. I can't even tell you when the last time I used Giant Banana was. So I mean, in theory, all you guys are saying is right. It'd be nice. So that's obviously not where my favorite skill is, because I don't use it. Hopefully Sunshine will be made available again someday. But I was just looking at the survey that I sent out for all of the different skills, and it's pretty impressive that the top 4 have a huge separator from 5th place. And that's just Coinbox, Lucky 7, Giant Banana, and Boomerang. All of those are within a couple points of each other, and then the next one, which is Bowser Shell, actually is really far down from that. So obviously, any 4 of those can have an argument of which one is the best. But obviously, I think the question is which one is the most enjoyable. Which one do you enjoy the most? And honestly, I've recently taken Shy Guy Ninja to level 5, and he's been used. If I take him to 6, I could use him a couple times this tour. This week. But I don't think I need to in ranked. So I've just been enjoying using him in Tokyo Blur 3 RT. And I just got my first ever boombox the other day, and it was just like, you don't even realize what's going on. You're just using it was a frenzy, and I just started doing it, and all of a sudden I started seeing a whole bunch of coins that were spilled up front, and I was just like, man, here it comes. And I just started collecting, and I saw my score, and my action count just going up. And
the very best.
I was not on the toilet like you, so I was able to hold it in.
Also, part of the fun is like trying to scope out visually, like who's got the box? Are they about to open the box? Where am I? It's like a very tactical move,
And the other thing that I didn't even think about, because I didn't even have practice with it, is that like I need to start the right way, which is not first.
Oh yeah.
I need to start behind, and I like one of the things that I do on Tokyo Blur 3 RT is right when you take off for the glide section, there's that thwomp that comes down right away, and I hit it on purpose, and I let people go by me. And when you hit it on purpose, you actually land on the glide section the other way, which for some reason it counts for me as a jump boost. So it keeps my combo going.
Wow,
and then I actually get a little bit of a speed boost ahead. Even though everybody's in front of me, I can kind of catch up with them. And then I get my first Coinbox. And then sometimes I get where I need to go. But it's just about strategy of like, when do I use this singular boomerang? Yeah. Where is the best time to be able to scoop up some coins, whether it's from a coin box or just the coins on the course? There's a lot of great opportunities there.
And then,
so I've been really enjoying boomerang, and it's been kind of exhilarating at times. Sometimes frustrating because you don't get one, but when you do and they come at the right time, it's a really nice feeling.
Yeah. I agree with that. Jeeves, what about you, man? Where does Giant Banana rank? And obviously, you got to now talk about boomerang because we're all enjoying it.
I think Giant Banana is probably my favorite because the ratio of like getting a Giant Banana frenzy to a boombox is a lot higher.
Yeah,
I can probably count the number of times I got a boombox like on one hand.
Yeah.
It does not happen as often as you think. There's got to be a lot of things in place for it to happen. So, and when it does, it's great. And a lot of times, one time I had a boombox and it was great, and I got a bunch of coins, but I finished 5th.
Yeah, let's say it's what happens after. It's what happens after this. What's
right? Whereas a Giant Banana Frenzy, like you're guaranteed pretty much first, and like Studfit, it's like now you don't want to be ahead too fast because you want them to get, you need more actions. And so I would actually say the Giant Banana is probably my favorite besides, Coinbox. I mean,
we haven't. No one's mentioned Lucky 7 yet. Where does Lucky 7 rank for you?
Well, here's my distinction with the Lucky 7 characters, and that separates the boomerang and the Giant Banana characters separates from the Lucky 7 characters. I honestly think if you get too many boomerang and Giant Banana drivers, that might be trouble in the future. Because I mean, those stuff you get multiple Giant Banana drivers in one race. I mean, that might just turn into chaos.
I see.
I don't know if
that's a good point.
For boomerang, and maybe especially in multiplayer. I don't know. So I think
I remember people bringing that up when Ninja Shy Guy came out. They were like, wait, we got to consider that Ninja Shy Guy is going to be on the track with me too. Yeah. And I've gotten boomeranged. In fact, I got boomboxed once by a bot. It didn't affect me that much, but it was still like, okay.
You got to tread water with that kind of skill, I think, more than Lucky 7.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many times we've had somebody have a bomb cannon just like no, because they can't have frenzies, so they have a bob-omb cannon, and you're just like, gosh, like I Wario Hikers like ruined like 5 runs on this, you know, and
well, the bob-omb cannon with bots is like that's otherworld evil, like that they've got that programmed so.
How many times in a race have you had like more than 2 bomb can? I can't think of one. I've maybe had. I mean, there's a bunch of races I have where there's 2 bomb characters, not 3. I had a race with 3 Coinbox characters.
Oh, you were in heaven.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
great.
And that's the ultimate boombox, resetting and resetting and resetting.
Yeah, I mean, nothing happened, but yeah. So, I mean, I think if you have like a stronger intensity skill, I think you need to keep them a little bit more rare.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I like that viewpoint. That's I think that's completely fair.
I do think Lucky 7 got way improved when they added Skill Plus. I mean, a lot of the skills did, but throwing those coins in there.
I wish they added the coins when you got the frenzy though. But
they're not part
compared
of it?
to afterwards.
No, if you get a Lucky 7 frenzy.
You don't get the coin, you get the action count.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's their way of keeping it not OP.
Right.
But I think we all.
Yeah, one of the things about Lucky, I was gonna talk about Lucky 7, but go ahead, Sammy.
No, I said what I was going to.
Well, I think we're starting to see some people use Boombox for the first time, and there's a learning curve. Like it takes a while for you to get it down, even if you know like what to do, like how
and finish first.
Yeah. I mean, you think to yourself like I could just sit back. What I love about Lucky 7 is that it can take you to the front. That's not necessarily guaranteed with a boomerang. You know, like you get a lot of high points. Is high, like, you know, that ceiling is even higher. But if somebody is like way out in first, like you're not hitting them. You're not like advancing to first place. Whereas Lucky 7, most of the time you are. I will say even Lucky 7 took me a while to get used to it at first because I would just get a Lucky 7 in my spot and be like, I'm going to go right to the front. Boom, I got a Lucky 7. And then I remember specifically, Comtruce was, you know, had the same loadout as me, and he was crushing me by like 3,000 or 4,000 points. I'm like, what? I got Lucky 7 double coin. How could he possibly beat this? But you
Loopers.
Like as I'm going, yeah, exactly. So for Lucky 7, my goal is that like as that last like few shells are going out, I'm still like right there in 3rd place because. You know, for me, it's like I will send a couple out, and I'll still be behind the next item box that I get. It's not going to be a frenzy, so I don't have to be in first place. I can be in second, be in third, get a red shell, take out a couple more people, then move to first, and right in the perfect spot as to go into lap 2. Hopefully, get
as long as you keep your combo too.
No, yeah, you're always. I agree. You always want to keep your combo, whether you're driving Banana or Lucky 7. But ultimately, like I rushed through it, and that takes a learning curve. And I think all these skills are so much fun. To be honest with you, I think to answer the question for myself, I still think Coinbox is like exhilarating to get. You know, when you're getting that Coinbox, like I still probably, you know, that high is still there just as much, or if not more than any of the other frenzies.
I'm not part of the Coinbox backlash movement.
Yeah, why do you think there is a Coinbox? That's not a question we have here, but it's a controversial topic.
I don't know. I think really, I don't know. I don't want to point fingers. I think certain types of players, they find it boring, and I know Carlos and others have talked about you have to grind more to get the Vex Coinbox. Maybe I'm not at that level of grinding where I really understand what they mean by that. I don't think they're that infrequent or anything. I mean, certainly Lucky 7 is I think the easiest one to pull back in 6th, 7th place and stall and just rack up the points. I love Lucky 7 is a little more fun to try to get maybe than Coinbox, but I still love it. I mean,
yeah, Coinbox is pretty much a crapshoot, I think.
And I love the strategy of driving through the Coinbox. I mean, if you watch Carlos, watch this very subtle.
Like
I know it, and there's one of the things I realized about Mario Kart Tour. My friends and I started playing it. The first week. I remember we were texting each other. We're like, "These controls are awful. These controls suck." And I was like, "Yeah, I haven't figured it out just yet." And I remember texting them. I was like, "Guys, the key is the tiniest finger movements possible. Like, just try that out." And with Coinbox, it absolutely is. Just very tiny little hops and drifts, and you work it and you manipulate the coins. And if you're on a curve, you manipulate exactly where you want them to go. And that is a fun kind of craft to hone.
I'm surprised. Carlos talks about not liking shooter games and saying he's not very good. But the way he maneuvers and gets all these red coins just very subtly, he's very precise. I admire. There's so many times where I'm like, dude, how did he get like 50 coins from that Coinbox frenzy? It's insane. And so, kudos to Carlos. Definitely check out Carlos85 and his channel. But that is phenomenal. I think from the whales perspective, they're tired sometimes of Coinbox because when we're doing all cup ranking, they're counting like there's 26 out of 36 tracks are Coinboxes. So I'm having to get up it's a little monotonous, but
that's what it is. It's a CR thing.
That's the only reason why they would complain about it. But then we hear on the other side of the spectrum, we hear people complain about it because hey, I only have Donkey Kong characters. I can't use I hate to see all these Coinbox tracks. Like this is.
Who could you be talking about?
Well, I mean,
I think
you should definitely check out Kevin Garrett's channel. He does things free to play, and I admire that. And there's a lot of techniques he talks about. It's not just, but I mean, I think there's just like a big fan base for the Kongs, and so like there's a natural gravitation to there's other people that really like peaches or really like daisies. You see like their favorite list. It's like all daisies or all peaches, and they're just like, there are people that like different drivers, and that's perfectly fine. But so when Coinboxes rule, even if it's like a gold King Boo, and you're just like, I like daisies, like you're just not going to enjoy the game as much because you're not able to use those daisies.
But that gets me back to what I was talking about. I don't like Boo. Like I'm not a fan of the Boo characters. But you give me a gold King Boo with Coinbox, and he's one of my favorite characters because of the Coinbox. The best, highest scoring drivers become my favorite drivers. You know what I'm saying? And now, don't get me wrong. I love, you guys know, I love the Japanese stuff. Peach Happy's a nice, perfect balance to me. I love her aesthetic, and she has a perfect skill. That's the ideal situation. But I think what makes those four top skills, and now that we've talked about it, each one of those four skills has a specific strategy as you're using the item. While you're in the frenzy or while you're using the item, there is a whole world of strategy in that moment, those several seconds that dash ring doesn't have, that mushrooms don't have, that double bomb. I mean, placing your bombs, yes, but it's really, I think that's why those are like the four, the five.
You know what I was thinking of, and I don't know if I apologize if I'm charging into another topic, is because everyone's talking about like the main four skills with Coinbox, Boomerang, Giant Banana, Lucky 7, right? Oh, nice kitty.
Cameo.
I thought, like, in a way to kind of bring them a little bit more together competitive-wise is to make the lesser, like, the less stronger ones, like, if you have a frenzy, you get a longer frenzy time.
Do you think frenzy times vary? Tabor, have you looked at that?
I haven't looked at that, but
I feel like they do.
I feel like when you get certain frenzies, especially since there's a lot of drivers that I don't use regularly, but when I have to and I end up getting a frenzy there, I'm kind of surprised with how long some of those last actually. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I just know that the frenzies that I want to get never last long enough. I know that.
That's relativity. Like, when time changes when you're in a certain moment. Like Coinbox seems to last a long time for me.
The reason I think that is because we're used to the length of time in which a Coinbox single is. The Coinbox frenzy is substantially longer than a Coinbox single box. Like the time that those are coming out. So I think that part might have it. I also think like Lucky 7, you know how like when you submit a Lucky 7, there's like a delay where like the blooper is going out and then like you're getting shot with the mushroom. It's like it literally is going one by one through all 7. And so like you can sometimes miss a like an item box or something like that because you're like it takes an extra second to I noticed it like in multiplayer when you're sending a single Lucky 7, you're like, oh, item box right there, I'll go ahead and send it. And then it sent it like through the item box. You missed the item box. So I think there's like that element to it too. And like maybe, a dash ring, you're actually still going through the rings as the frenzy finishes and you're like, did it finish? Like, am I invisible still? Yeah. So I personally think that they're the same length. But I'm pretty wishy-washy.
And then
you can convince me otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that I always see that I have to be careful of is that if I have a frenzy whether it's Coinbox or whether it's Dashring or whether it's whatever, and I'm getting, like, the frenzy is over, and I still look at my action count, and it's still counting actions, it's still counting up with whatever I just did. If I don't do another action count, even while it's counting, it'll drop.
Immediately.
It'll drop. Even though it looks like you're still getting some, you're not. It's like it's all past. So you just have to be really careful to not always go by those numbers increasing. You just have to go by continuing to find a mini turbo bust plus or a jump booster or whatever.
They're very
I was just thinking
skills.
that it would be kind of, when you get a sound horn frenzy, it's just like, oh, great, but this sucks.
Yeah.
It would be nice, like, if that could be kind of extended so you can build a strategy. Because, like, usually when you get a sound horn frenzy, you're in front.
Right.
And you can't get any hits, right? So it'd be nice if they can extend that time where you can figure out a way to lose position a little bit so you can get some hits.
Yeah. I always get a mega mushroom when I'm way behind everybody else, and it doesn't help me at all.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah.
I mean, you don't get any, actually. Yeah.
Well, so at the very beginning of the video, Chiefs, you didn't hear this necessarily, but I brought up a topic that came up in one of the comments of my videos. Typically, in this podcast, I like to reserve a lot of these questions for our members, but this was a good question, and there were actually some follow-up questions that came out similar from some of the members. So, Tabor, you already know about this one, but I want to say his name right. Kuroko asks, I feel like Gold Pass only should be described as Gold Pass without buying any packs or Premium Challenge or anything for it to be Gold Pass only. It only makes sense. So there might be some categories like free to play, which is no money whatsoever, like Kevin Garrett. Shout out to Kevin Garrett. Definitely check out his channel. Gold Pass only, which is just Gold Pass, no packs, no extras. Gold Pass Plus. I like that term, but that name can be whatever you want to call it. Whereas you have Gold Pass with the occasional, maybe extra small packs, things like, like the commemorative packs or premium packs or whatever you might. This might be like Tabor, Go Shiny, Shy Guy cards,
challenge cards too, maybe. Challenge cards in that one too.
Okay, I like that too. And then like this Dolphin, where you have Gold Pass, and then mostly small deals, maybe the occasional bigger packs. I think Sammy falls into this. And then he puts out Whale, which almost always get everything in the game, like Carlos. I will add to the caveat, I really like this idea, and it doesn't matter because it's all just names, but I think it's actually a wider spectrum than that. To me, it's like not all whales are the same. Like I might get 60 to 70% of the packs, where the ones I won't get are the ones that I already have at level 7, because I'm not going to use my money for coins. I have plenty of coins. I don't need the rubies that bad. But, for like someone like Carlos, he puts on a channel, it makes for exciting videos. And he's been doing it for a long time, even before his channel got to where it is. So I do think like there's like Whale, and then I kind of like the name like Shark, or, Killer Whale, or whatever you like. There's something between like a dolphin and a whale. I think a lot of people who are in those lower sides of the spectrum think like, all the whales are the same. They're all doing things, the same. But there is some difference. So I don't know. Open it up there. Tabor, do you like being called a Gold Pass Plus? How do you feel about that? Sammy, do you feel like you're a dolphin? And then Jeeves, where do you kind of line up on that spectrum?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, because I'm Gold Pass, but yeah, I do spend money in a few other different places. But again, like I said before, I never spend anything over $5. But I mean, I think you're right, because I think sometimes we can claim that we're one thing and somebody else is truly that one thing, and they feel like they don't relate at all because we're actually doing this and they're not doing that, and so it's kind of hard. But I don't have a problem with those multiple distinguishments. But I mean, like I said, it's just labels that we're giving ourselves. So we want to be careful that we're relating well to the community and not making it seem like that we're the same as them when actually we're doing more.
Yeah, I think the best way you can identify yourself, you worry about yourself, and then go from there. No one likes being called a whale if they don't feel they're a whale, but because it's actual money we're dealing with. But Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't interest me all that much, what we call this or that, or we call each other. And it's always shifting, too, because they keep bringing in new things. I mean, when the game started, I did not know there were going to be commemorative carts for $4. I mean, they're finding ways. And even now with the Premium Plus, I mean, I'm still mulling over, like, what am I going to do about that? I chose this time to do exactly what I think Studfit brought up. It's like, if you have a budget, which for me was one $20 pack a tour plus the $5 premium challenge. And so for $20, I can get the premium plus instead of a pack. So I'm coming down a few rubies short. I'm getting the tickets. So it's always evolving. And, someone might want to spend 3 months being a whale. I have members who decide to be a whale captain member and spend a little more for a few months and then go back to spending nothing. I mean, it's whatever you want to do.
What about you, Jeeves? Where do you fall in that spectrum?
Well, I'm a whale.
Get it, Jeeves.
Like I said, I don't do
this
much.
Isn't Whale Anonymous. You could be like, I'm a whale. You could,
a whale and proud.
I mean, I've been in, I think, top 100 since in ACR, I think, 8 times in a row now. So I'm a whale.
Nice, Jeeves.
Nice.
But, I mean, the funny thing, what's interesting is, like, you can still be a whale, but you still got to get strategy, I mean, especially in ACR and stuff. So, like this tour, like, I was thinking, I don't even know if I'll make top 100 because, like, because with Tokyo, that was one of the first tours, and I wasn't really, spending a lot. I was just getting new to the game, right? I think my only thing is I do feel with the Gold Pass account, I don't think the benefits are enough.
Oh,
I just don't think because I know it's like only $5 a month or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some people that wanted that. No, I think fair point.
I think you see in other communities. I see you see in your Discord stuff. It's in yours, Carlos. The pairings and ranked, and for a gold pass, you're like, well, what the heck am I paying for?
Well, I'll offer a counterpoint on that because just from a totally different perspective, they can't keep making a game and not paying any developers to do it. Even going back to Abdallah, he said right at the beginning, I rewatched his first reaction of day one of playing the game recently. I just wanted to watch someone covering the first week of the game. And he is immediately talking about the pricing and immediately shocked as everyone was. And he said, hey, but no, that's how this game is going to go on, is from people buying these packs. Do not judge someone for if they have enough income where they can do that. And especially during COVID, we weren't going out to movies. We weren't going out to bars. You spend $42 for a round of beers with your boys at a bar.
Yeah.
What's the difference? You're having fun and doing it with your friends. So anyway, but that's besides the point. Some people might not have the $40.
I just think a lot of Gold Pass only guys. I don't think that they're getting their worth.
Yeah, I would just say that I remember
maybe it's just because of ranked.
Yeah, but I'm a Dolphin and I still have really unpredictable, unfair ranks. I mean, I don't think you.
I personally could not imagine just being like a true free to play and not getting the rubies.
No, I couldn't either. I almost would be like, I don't even know if I would get the satisfaction just as a gold pass.
Yeah.
To me, I think they have been stepping up the value. I think that they've been doing a really good job of giving us these random free rubies every X amount of whatever days. I think that it's great value, but I also could it be more if everyone's receiving it? And I think that's one of the reasons why they made one of the changes to the daily logins. It's like, hey, if everyone's getting these tickets, then everyone's game is getting boosted up. So I remember when All Cup ranking was going on, it seemed like every tour the maximum score was going up because now everyone's accounts were all getting better and we were all advancing together. So who's really advancing?
I tried to warn people about that when they started giving out extra tickets. I was like, remember, all your opponents are getting those too.
And Sammy, I will agree with you. I think they are trying to drive towards the packs and get and more on numbers on those. I think that's very. I think that's legit and reasonable.
I think it's allowed them to develop the game further. And then Gold Pass only, I remember calculating in my head, okay, that's only $60 per year. That's the exact price of one Nintendo Switch game, like Paper Mario or Mario Golf or Odyssey or Breath of the Wild.
It'd be kind of nice if they had various levels, though. Like you said,
I'm surprised they haven't introduced Gold Pass Plus. I'm surprised.
Pass Pro.
I think they will. Tabor, haven't we talked about this? I feel like they will do that at some point.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. I think with all that being said, I mean,
Platinum Pass.
Out of all the different things that you can spend your money on in this game, I still think Gold Pass is the best bang for your buck.
Sure.
It's only $5, and with what you're getting, especially the fact that you're getting 300 more coins per day compared to just a free-to-play or not having Gold Pass, plus all the other rewards. I mean, and for $5 in America, it's exactly it's best. I mean, it's great. Now, obviously, the Premium Challenge Plus right now is kind of giving that a run for its money with everything that you're getting there. But yeah, I could possibly see, even with this upcoming September update, which we don't know exactly what that's going to be entailing, to see some different levels of Gold Pass come out or something. That would distinguish you a different tier from where they are right now.
Blue Pass with the introduction of the Blue Pipe.
Yeah, when's that Blue Pipe coming out? What's going on with there?
Oh my gosh.
Blue Pass.
Well, Tabor,
Tabor, by the way, I'll let you go, Jeez, but I want to mention something about the Blue Pipe. I had an idea about it later if it can come up. So go ahead.
Okay. Jeeves?
Sorry. So I remember we were on the Discord when we were discussing our ranks last week, and Tabor, you said you were screwed because you finished 12th, and 12th. One of the courses you didn't have a top shelf cart, and did you have a top shelf driver?
No, that was it. Just on Ninja Hideaway RT, I didn't have a top shelf cart.
Okay, all right. I thought it was the other. I thought it was like a top shelf cart and a top shelf driver as well. Because I was like, as a Gold Pass guy, I'd feel kind of upset about that.
Yeah, I was. I would. That's
other, Gold Pass guys that they'll be in ranked and they don't have 2 of the 3 top shelf.
Right, and sometimes I just have to. And I went into that Mario versus Peach Pipe 1 more than I probably should have. But hoping to get Sakura Quickshaw, and that's a lot for me to say, just because again, my rubies are pretty precious to me, and I'm only going to do it whenever I really, really feel the need. And I went into it 3 times, and I didn't get what I wanted to. And I know it's the old mantra of don't go into a pipe unless you're willing to go all the way in, and I get that. But I mean, I didn't walk away empty-handed. I got some high ends out of it, but not just the one that I wanted to. But I mean, sometimes Gold Pass doesn't feel like enough, but at the same time, is it worth me breaking my budget and spending more than I want to? No. It's a game, and at the end of the day, it's just a silly game that we play as a hobby, so it's not like it's my livelihood or anything.
That might just be my experience with other games. Like I said, this is the only game I play.
Yeah,
so maybe there's probably,
I like to say, people, what part of Kart Life do you not understand?
The whole world is just a cart just revolving. Yeah. Wade actually asked, WD, Wade, KartDartr asked a question about Nintendo's pricing for the bundles. I don't know. I know it won't happen, but I really think it might be a totally different game if they slash the prices. So, if instead of 20 and 40, and here in America it was 10 and 20, do you think they would have made more money, or do you think that the whales would have just found more ways to? But let's just throw out that hypothetical. He talks about when he first started the game, he was amazed at the price of the bundles, similar to how you just said, Sammy. It scares a lot of people off who might otherwise really enjoy the game and potentially spend money. So, let's just say in this scenario where, let's say a 45 ruby pack was, $10 instead of 20, and then, 20 instead of 40. Tabor, would you play your game any differently?
Before I answer that, Studfit, let me ask you a question first.
Yep.
If instead of these packs being $20 and $40, what if they were $25 and $50? What if they just let's go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
If they increase the packs by $5 or $10 or anything, would that change the way that you play the game or
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. I hadn't thought of that.
No increased value. Same thing. Just 45 rubies or 20 or 40 rubies or 20 rubies or whatever.
Yeah, and there might be some things where I would want to take it up, to hit a specific level or whatever. Or maybe if something's at like 4.5, I might get it once instead of 3 times. Or I might make a decision like that. Or, if something's new. Like a good example would be this silly little barrette little glider thing that we have that came out new. It's in a pack.
The Yukata ribbon.
Exactly. You call it dog crap, and I would still I would be so hesitant to get more than one. I would just say I would just get one, but I got 3 because I need the rubies for this Mario pipe. But if it was 25, I mean, maybe I just would have got 1. I would have been saying like, hey, I'm only getting 1, but there is some of that, trying to keep up with the bigger whales and seeing like Carlos go 1,200 rubies in, and I'm just going in with my piddly 672 and being like, hey, I hope this is entertaining for people. I would probably do things a little differently, but I do think at the end of the day, you're probably right. I probably more often than not wouldn't, but I've made a strict line in the sand that if I have something at 7, I'm just not going to get a pack with that. But there are whales that do that, and that's perfectly fine. This is the part of the game where you don't see me talk a lot about that, and like the rundown is like, I just say like this is stud or dud, like I like it or not. But you could make an argument that everything's a stud if you really wanted to, because it gives you this track, it gives you that track. But I mean, I really don't like to talk about the financial aspect of it, because it is kind of a dirty part of the game. It does have some parts of that. Even when I think about like how much has been spent on the game, I feel a little dirty inside. But this is like to Sammy's point, like if I went to take my wife to dinner, like we spend over $100-200 easy, and that's just for one night. I'm playing this game for probably the next 2 or 3 years, and I'm probably going to enjoy it much more than that one that steak dinner. So sorry, honey. I already spent the money on the game. Can't go out. You're going to have that mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 points real quick, and then we can ask Sammy or Jeeves what they think. So one, and you're going to hear this from me first, but you're going to eat those words, Studfit, because I think Yukata ribbon is going to be a very valuable glider, actually.
Wow. Okay, I'm interested to hear why.
Because I said so. Oh. No, I think a lot of it is just because it is right now, it's completely pack locked, and it's not been in a pipe, and it's going to be a pretty exclusive item. So those people that afford to spend the money to be able to get it are going to be well rewarded.
Yeah, like the cheap. What was it? No. What was the paddles that we have?
Festival
wings. Like that was completely useless for a long period of time.
See, I would like to see Tabor. I know you don't need more work to do, but someone with Tabor's mind kind of compile all of those pack locked things that have been in the game and how valuable they got. I mean, I remember Starry Great Sale. I had the same thought. I was like, ooh, maybe this should be the one I get because it's only in a pack. Does that mean it's going to be more valuable? And I don't know what the data shows. Do those become more valuable or not? That's a question I'm curious about.
It would be good for someone to take that data and make an average out of it. Like, hey, it goes, on average, there's a 20% odds that it's going to be in, ranked.
Sorry, Tabor.
I know you're all talking about me. It's fine. I'll make a note.
Yeah.
So the second point, real quick, and before we go down there, is so again, I came from Madden Mobile, and you guys might be surprised to see this or to hear about this, but in Madden Mobile, obviously there was packages that you could buy for different cards or different items or whatever players that you could get, and their packs were $49.99 and $99.99.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So when I came to Mario Kart Tour and I saw the packs, I was like, oh, I mean, not like I was going to buy anything, but I was like, yeah, that seems more reasonable. So there wasn't much of a sticker shock on me as there was in the previous game that I played. And I may or may not have bought a couple of 99.99s in Madden Mobile before I knew better.
But I do think, hey, maybe you came in having that experience and you just came into this game like setting, a bar for yourself. Like, hey, I regretted what I invested there, so I'm just not going to invest that here.
It did, and I mean, that's why I don't see the pricing as an issue. I don't see a lot of the whales complaining about how much that they have to spend because they're choosing to do it or not. And so obviously whether the packs are $20 or half price at $10, it's ultimately up to the player on what they want to do. And there's no right or wrong way. As Sammy said and Adala said at the very beginning, the whales or the people that spend money are the people that keep this game going. If no one spent any money, if no one spent bought any packs, the game would have been done after year one. Yep. If it's not profitable for Nintendo, then they're going to scrap it and try to find something else to do.
100%. I would say that kind of to the question we talked a little bit about last episode. I've been thinking about it too. Is like when will this game end? And I think. Yeah, there's also the question of like, is this a true Mario Kart game? Like, is this like just as much of a Mario Kart game as Mario Kart 64 or whatever? And to me, like this is what gaming is in 2021. Like these are mobile games where somebody has to keep it going.
Paradigm shift a little bit.
Like, yeah, we don't have like consoles they have to blow in and put vinegar in when it's not working like that. Like this is. Maybe you still do on your phone, but this is 2021. Like this is how gaming is today, and like to fight that it's in denial. Now it doesn't mean you have to go out and buy packs necessarily, but like that's what's keeping this game active. I mean, we have an evolving game. I'm even like a good example would be Smash Brothers Ultimate. They came out with like these expansion packs where you can get different sprites and you get a new player. So like we got that game and I got a bunch of them and I was like, hey, this is cool. I can play with like a Tekken player fighter, and there's plenty of fighters. I don't need more fighters in the game, but for me, I thought like there's other games that are even on a console that are evolving to that mode, and I think we'll continue to see that going in the future.
Yeah. One of the things that I saw, because we all know that Dr. Mario is on its way, or not. Is that right? The mobile game of Dr. Mario? Is that the one? Yeah.
Yep.
It's on its way out, and so I was just looking at like the profitability of both that game and this game to see how they compare. So Dr. Mario World was released in July of 2019, I believe, and it's gotten about 14 million in profits. Whereas Mario Kart Tour, which released in September of 2019, so a couple months later, has got 222 million. So there is a huge difference between the two. Yep. And obviously that's why Dr. Mario, they're not going to spend any more resources on that because it's not, we might see as it's on its way out, some bigger things coming to Mario Kart Tour to increase the profitability that's happening.
And because of actual manpower, like literally DNA works on Dr. Mario World, if I'm not mistaken. So they're literally allocating more resources to Mario Kart Tour in one from that perspective, if you will.
Right. So this update that's coming might be a bigger update than we think, because Dr. Mario World, I believe, is done in November. So it's going to be gone. So whether it's in September or something shortly after the beginning of the new year, we could see some major changes or major shifts.
Yeah. I was just going to say, they're never going to, you probably covered this while I stepped away, but they won't change slash the prices of the packs. It would be an outrage to everyone who's done it for 2 years.
Well, that's actually a question that.
But the same thing was true with Level 7. When Level 7 came out, all these whales who had already maxed people out at Level 6 were like, no, I got to start over. I would have had Level 7 already.
Yeah, but there's a natural assumption that things are going to grow. And when it comes to money, if they're going to permanently make something half the price that it was for 2 years, I mean, I just don't think that would go down well.
So permanently, I don't see any changes there. But what about temporarily? KnightRoso asks, do you think Nintendo will ever do some type of like sale, like 15? He specifically mentions like 15 for a 45 ruby, 30 for a 90 ruby for like a one-time only thing.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to do that in the first anniversary tour. That was one of my my thoughts. I figured they would, for that one tour, do a lot of deals with actual money deals, and they didn't. So I don't think they will again. I mean, maybe if this keeps going for a few more years, they're obviously going to keep coming up with ways to make money, just like the Premium Plus challenges. So never say never, but I don't see it happening.
I think what we've been seeing is the answer to that, because we've been seeing a lot more of the commemorative carts coming out, or the commemorative items, and those are not these packs, but they're making something more affordable for the general public that has had some decent value on some of these items. So I think this is kind of the answer to that. They're not going to slash prices. They're not going to put a sale on, but they might release a few items that are more affordable for, the general player.
Yeah, I will say, as the topic of level 7 came out, Aussie Kart asks, when do we foresee level 8 being introduced, and do you think there will be any further increase above a triple cap? And with the point cap tickets. Disclaimer: I would prefer neither of these to happen if possible, so as many characters can get to level 7 and triple cap. But I'm sure level 8 is definitely inevitable. What do you guys think? Do you disagree? It's definitely inevitable, or is it coming in the near future, or do you think that's just a little farther away than we think?
What do you think, Studfit?
Yeah, I think that there are new players entering the game at a higher frequency than we think. There was obviously a spike due to COVID-19, but we also have this Delta coming in. Maybe there's another set of people coming in. I will say that the way that they're releasing these packs, giving like Navin packs and Pinkle Peach in packs, things that we're starting to get to higher levels. I think that they're targeting even this gold pipe. Like that is a hey, you're new to the game. Here's some stuff to catch up to everybody else. And I think that even like level 7 is still out of reach for most Gold Pass Plus. The little tongue twister there. I think that those people may only have a handful of things at level 7. To me, if they moved it to level 8, I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me as much as when I heard about level 7. It didn't take me that long to take things there, so I'm open to it. I think level 200 will happen before level 8, but I think they both haven't happened for the same reason, and that's they want to welcome players. They don't want players that have been around to have just too head start, and people feel discouraged and not feel like they're playing a fair game. So that's my opinion on it. I do think it could be inevitable. I mean, honestly, I think this game is going to go on for another 2 or 3 years. I think that 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 will come. I just don't think 8 is coming in 2020.
Wow. I mean, it's hard to imagine, though, the amount of tickets. It was a bigger jump than we thought when level 7 happens. So, do they keep it there, or does it go up to 9 tickets you need, or whatever? That's just, who can do that? Who can do that other than the whales? So it does really make people feel like they're not going to be able to keep up.
How many months ago did level 7? I know the answer to this. I'm just asking you guys if you know. How many months ago did level 7 debut?
6,
7,
5.
I mean, about half a year, 5 or 6 months.
10.
Wow, really?
It was mid-October.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, what are you talking about? It came out during a snow tour.
Level 7?
The 2.6.0 update is when level 7 released.
Okay, I
Wait,
trust
is it-
Tabor.
Oh,
I
like
mean,
how-
don't question Tabor, so I won't fight you on that. But wow, I can't believe it.
That's what I found. So correct me if you do.
I'm gonna try to correct you if I can. I thought that February snow tour level 7. I remember because it was my birthday tour, and level 7 came on my on the snow tour on my birthday tour.
Well, now you got me questioning that.
we can keep looking at that, but
Yeah.
I was another response to that for me is that we didn't know uncapping was going to even be a thing, and I think they're going to come up with other ways to enhance your arsenals and your scores. There was a thing found in the beta we mentioned last time, not in the beta. A thing found in data mining. They were experimenting with the idea of pins, or you could call them badges. And in like an RPG game, if you go into a battle, you have certain pins. Like say you have a attack plus pin, you can put that pin on for one battle, and it boosts a certain, result. And the data mining found 4 pins for Mario Kart Tour for like Speed Plus, Attack Plus. I don't remember what they were, but that's just an example. I mean, they might end up doing that actual idea, but it's just also an example. There might be ways that we find that we other aspects to leveling up our stuff.
Yeah, good point. Like Sammy, if you think about in Pokemon Go that you play, like they have that Mega, but you only have Mega for a certain period of time. And you can collect like certain the special candy or whatever to be able to upgrade it, and that literally has a shelf life of like 48 hours or something. What if like you could make skill plus and you could, instead of getting 2 coins for lucky 7, you got 4 coins, but you would have to like build up resources, and then when you used it, it was only available for 48 hours or something like that. I remember
48 hours or like for one cup or one tour. Like what if for each tour you could only use each pin on one on driver, and you got to commit for a couple weeks or something?
Personally, I hate that. Like I want to know, like, if I'm going to invest in something, this is a permanent investment. I don't want to think it's kind of like renting a movie versus buying. Like there's still like that. I still want to like own something. Hey, we're in a new world. Who knows? I remember like when we were thinking back about like what was going to happen in certain updates. I remember thinking like, we have tickets for like levels and caps. What if there's like something else? I think some people had even mentioned like, what if you could use something to make a middle shelf a top shelf, or for a tour for a temporary period of time. So there's that too. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we happen with these levels. Anything else to say there?
2.6. So 2.6.0 came out October 14th.
Well, what's 2.6.0? All I'm seeing is
that's level 7.
That's the update for level 7.
Okay, I'm super thrown off then. But
all right, well, we're gonna
if that's true, so it's been 10 months, but even over these 10 months, other than the whales, I don't know if anybody else has allowed any of their items to naturally move to level 7. There might be a few high-end drivers, karts, or gliders that we forced to go to level 7 just to open up the daily selects or things like that, or to help ourselves with some ideas or with some races. But I don't see level 8 happening anytime soon. If it does happen, it probably wouldn't happen, I think, until probably the 2.5 anniversary or maybe after that. But as we're coming up to the 2 anniversary, I don't see level 8 being implemented anytime soon. Like Studfit said, I could probably see level 200 happening before that. But at the same time, they don't want to scare away new players. And the fact that, Studfit, you had said you could see this game going on for, 2, 3, 4 more years. That's exciting, yet scary at the same time. Because if we're at 420 total items in the game, not even 2 years in, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, we could be looking at 800 items, 1,000 items in our inventory. Like what? It's just unthinkable. Like what are you going to do with so much stuff and not enough tickets to address these things?
Well, can I say something?
Yeah, go for it, jeez.
All right. And I'm going to have to get going because...
yeah, man. Glad you were able to jump on.
Well, I'm going to do a crapper 10 pull after this for you guys. I am actually on the side of not going to level 8. I would love for a way, and it kind of goes back to my point earlier, to bring the free-to-play, Gold Pass play, Gold Pass Plus,
free to lose.
Yep. Yeah. kind of closer into that spectrum. So maybe introduce a way to have some kind of, not like a points cap, but some kind of other ticket to increase skill level of normal super drivers, whether it be increased frenzy percentage, again, frenzy time, just in that way, just very minimal, because you're not adding any characters or any gliders, whatever, but to drive that group
Yeah.
into a little bit more competitive way.
I hear what you're saying. There is an income inequality issue in the player base. You know, like basically any free to play is going to be kind of, even if they're fighting their hardest, and we know that all these people, they're going to be living a miserable existence going up against with the tier matchings and
that's why I kind of like maybe, you know, and I suggested before, more badges than just top 10, top 100, top 1,000.
I like that.
You know, let's do
that would
top
be very
5,000, top 2,500, top 50, top. You know what I mean?
It's cool. Yeah.
You know, make it. You know, I'm trying to think of ways to make it a little bit more competitive without adding just characters or new skills that you have to buy or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then. Anyway, I'm going to leave on that.
Hey, geez, thanks for joining us, man. I think that's a good point.
But, you know, on that note, look, you know, before I leave, I just want to say thank you for doing this. And Sammy, you know, I always feel like I joined late to your crew. I've been wanting to do it, but you know, your stuff has been really valuable. And Tabor, I mean, man, I'm a math major, Tabor.
Same here.
No, so you want to take over? Do you want to take over the work for Tabor? He's looking.
No, I have my own. I have my own math job. So, but dude, it's very impressive. So, thank you so much, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. You guys really are awesome. So,
thank you for the support.
Thanks,
man.
Jeeves. Yeah, appreciate it.
Anyway, well, you guys have a good night.
Yeah, dude.
And,
thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jeeves. Appreciate it.
We'll see you guys.
All right, man.
See you, bud.
All right. This is a good time to just kind of switch up something to relatively completely different.
Hey, Studfit,
okay, go for
sorry to interrupt. Real quick before you move on, I owe Sammy an apology.
Oh, my.
I was getting...
my.
So,
did you get stumped? Did this just happen?
I didn't get stumped.
Who's
I
the
got
data
corrected.
guru now?
Yeah. Looks like Sammy's going to take over my job. So you are correct. Level 7 came during the snow tour.
Yeah.
I was thinking of update 2.6.0, and the listeners might already be ahead of me here, so I'll correct myself before the comments blow up. Is that 2.6.0 is when level 3 and level 6 bonuses came out.
That's right.
So that has been 10 months. But you're right.
Yeah,
the snow tour. The snow tour was when level 7 was released, and that was 24 weeks ago, which is about 6 months. So you guys were both really close.
And it is crazy. I was thinking about like how well this is not like tooting my horn, but just like I didn't think I would get as many things maxed by now as I did. Like I thought it would take even longer. I didn't think I would have any high end level 7s. So I've got a handful of them now. So interesting.
All right,
it takes time though.
Yeah, well, G's leaving gives us an opportunity to kind of completely shift gears. Hero of the Skies 25 asked a really interesting question.
Who's that?
I think of this. I've already promised myself I'm only going to ask one Hero of the Skies question because people were starting to think he had some kind of secret ultra tier. Asking, I think I asked like 7 questions of his last time. So. Hero asks, and I think this is a wonderful question. He actually throws like 3 questions in here. I'll just read the first part. What's been your favorite and worst tour this year, and why?
Ooh, I gotta look at the list.
I think
my favorite.
go for it. Yeah, no, Tabor, go.
I've got 2 favorites. But probably the one that stands out the most is Ninja Tour. I really enjoyed Ninja Tour with the debut of Ninja Hideaway since we recently got that. But I just thought that was on the tail end of that 3 tour. What was that? During
1.
the winter?
1.5.
1.5. Thank you. Yeah. That was the tail end of the 1.5, and that was just we got a first boomerang character, high end. We got a great course that they just was a complete original course that we had never seen before. And
King Roberto thrown in as well.
Exactly. So there was just so many great things on that tour. But second place, probably not too far behind, was the Sydney tour. I know that was something that we had been looking forward to for a long time. Ever since that glider challenge where we landed on the boat, we were thinking maybe the Sydney tour was right around the corner. Well, right around the corner meant half a year away or whatever it ended up being. But both of those I thought were some of my favorites that we've had.
It's hard to argue Ninja Tour is going to go down in history, I think, for everyone as one of the highlights of year two, and what they're doing going forward. And I love that this tour right now is a little bit of a throwback to that, with Ninja, with the track and Ninja coming back. So yeah, it's hard to argue with that for being the best tour of the year. I think a lot of us would agree. I thought Snow Tour was cool because despite Levelgeddon, the hype and the excitement that we all were feeling about that whole reveal was so high, and it was my birthday tour as well with the Nabbit pipe. And even though I went into that and sent so many rubies, and some people did for no spotlight, that was one to remember. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Worst. I know that when the Bowser vs. DK tour came out and I did my reaction, I kind of like. I was definitely at a low point there for the whole game where I was like, this is BS. And I just did not like the lack of new driver. I know some people like that. I did not like the double Funky Kong, double dry Bowser, just the insult to injury with the Kong stuff. And I think that what you see now in this rally tour and the way they've tried to change things up and make it a little more exciting is a direct result of the reaction to Bowser vs. DK Tour and the fan base. If for no other reason, if for nowhere else, just like on Twitter or wherever they're reading our feedback, I don't know how much they're taking any of our feedback into consideration. But you have to wonder. They may be watching this podcast right now, but I think that was a low point for me for the year so far.
Yeah. Tabor, did you say what your least favorite was this year?
It wasn't, but that's the one that I had written down. The DK versus Bowser versus DK is just exactly the same reasons. There was no new driver, there was no new tracks. It was a rally tour, which I'm not a fan of, and it was just if there's been any time that something can be defined as a filler tour, it would be that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mind that tour for All Cup ranking. It was actually a lot of fun because we had a lot of fun tracks, some Dino Jungle and stuff like that. Where it was a generally fun tour for All Cup ranking. So it was middle of the pack. So I'm not putting it up there. I think the Ninja Tour has to be number one. I think, and some of the things I remember going through at the time, just even with my channel. Thinking about we were starting to double cap stuff and the Tabor spreadsheets and the top 10 became even more important because we were double capping things for the first time. And I just remember that was I hate to say this, but that was the height of Mario Kart Tour. They had outdone themselves for the first time, and now they're outdoing themselves. They're outdoing a normal. But this is the second time that they've been doing this amount of awesomeness. So it's less of a surprise. It's more okay, all right, yeah, you owe this to us. We feel good about it. But that was a total surprise. This 3-tour, entree tour. It was just so awesome.
It was bigger than Anniversary in a way, and that shows that they know. I have a pretty big feeling that second Anniversary tour is going to look a whole lot different from first Anniversary tour. A whole lot, because I think. That was just a year, and then even in the year, but the 6 months between a year and 1.5. The game was growing, the fan base getting really hyped, and I think they're giving back finally a little bit.
Yeah,
no, I think it'll be interesting to see what year two
original tracks. Original tracks.
Well, hey, that's a good
and
point.
Not only that, but Ninja Hideaway. That was really one of our first tracks where we had multiple routes almost the entire way.
So cool.
We've had some tracks before where you could go a different route, but then it quickly funnels into the same way that everybody goes. Mm-hmm. And you just had so many different options. It was just so. It was truly a 3D course, and it was just so great to be able to have all these different options and try to figure out which is the best, and just a new strategy involved.
So one of the things I liked, and this is probably the most interesting part, is that aspect of it. It's a very dynamic track, but then even through that second level coin, all those coins up there. Think about we think a boombox is epic, but I wonder how many somebody probably knows the number of coins that are up there. Like, is that bigger than a boombox? Is like getting all those coins in a boomerang frenzy. Sure. Like the pinnacle of a boomerang driver? I don't know, but I like thinking about things like the DK Summit and like seeing all the coins around. Like, hey, I wonder. Like, it's fun, like using a boomerang driver for things other than just boombox, and thinking about how they've been bringing, incorporating that in their tracks. That's newish.
Tokyo, the new Tokyo track RT3RT, it's a coin mine. Like, it's crazy. Like, you don't even have
you been getting it like on the street up above too?
I have a weird caveat about this week because, as you guys might remember, or maybe not, I have no competition in ranked, and it's really a disappointment this time for me.
I'm sure it's really disappointing.
Well, look, I shouldn't complain.
I'm just joking with you.
No, I shouldn't complain, but I guess I still hold this idea of like, maybe if I do score too much, it still could affect my rank. I don't know if I fully subscribe to any one theory, but I know you're going to laugh at that, but a lot of other people would have the same fear because I can't risk. If there's anything that could improve my chances going forward, fine. Plus, I truly do like the idea of like not getting a higher score. I'm going to get the same badge for ACR, top 1,000, either way. I can help anyone who has me in their ranked. Of course, I don't know if people even have me in their ranked. I have this whole other theory that they only pick certain people to put in ranked in general. But yeah, I haven't been able to like really take, I could, but I haven't been able to really take advantage of monster runs. Maybe I should, but I guess I've just been playing it really safe on a meta, very conspiratorial meta level.
I'm waiting for a couple tickets to really get a good run at that track, but the couple times I did, it was so much fun. There's coins everywhere.
Oh, it looks amazing.
But I think that hasn't necessarily been the case. You think it's say Chaco Mountain or whatever. There's like a little coin area, and that's about it. Like that's how kind of like tracks were for good 9 months to a year. There were a lot on the Mario circuit, so that was always good for Boombox.
It's like it was tailored.
There are 102 coins on that course.
On the course?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Wow. Tabor has the coin counts. Now, Tabor, when you come up with the coin counting, do you actually go through visually and count every coin?
I race the course in 50cc with a heart player, and then I record it, and I go all the different routes that I can for lap 1 and lap 2, and I figure out which one is the best route. Cool. And then I figure out how many total coins there are. I figure out how many you could technically get without any kind of item or whatever, and then double it for 2 laps. And
so is that the highest amount of coins on a course in the whole game?
Good question.
Sorry, Tabor. We're making it work.
I have DK Pass RT and Wallow Pinball R both at 110.
Yeah.
DK Pass, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I have Dino Jungle R at 114.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you're right. It is a little Easter egg that it's not even Easter egg. It seems catered to Boomerang and the unveiling of that driver. And it's a new custom track, and they're making a new custom track for Mario Kart Tour, meaning based around how Mario Kart Tour works, what the skills are like. And if we get more of those, I think we'll see some interesting things on the track. Some really fun stuff.
While we're on the topic of Ninja Hideaway, the question in the community has been, is Ninja Hideaway, is Merry Mountain a city track?
Well, it's not by name a city track.
Right.
They can change things at any time. That's why I say even city tracks, they might start coming in more. Clearly, they're rare. That's all we can say. They're seasonal. The fact that they didn't bring it back for 6 months means they probably won't bring it back for 6 more months. To me, or maybe an anniversary tour they will.
Still gonna be more than some cities. We may never see, Berlin, the Berlin that we did get, again, anytime soon. Or I agree with you. I just know it's a topic in the community. It's like, should we be treating these any different? Should we be treating them like an RT track? Should we be treating them? How do we treat them for our little algorithms?
Like in the trackers and stuff, I like looking at cities and seasonals. I'm weird. I guess I just I'm thinking, I know, okay, in my mind, I got to not count that as part of its value, but it's part of the value right now during this tour. And I try to stay on the present, unless I'm making some really left field, like terrible choice, I'm going to want to focus on the week I'm in as a big part of the puzzle. You know, that's just me.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Like, I'm saying?
No, I do.
Yeah.
I'm curious from Tabor, because you're the one that does the algorithms and stuff. What's your opinion on some of these tracks? Or I remember even we were wondering if DK Summit was going to be shunned for a little bit because there was some time that went by in between. But it's been back a number of times, much more. But just curious, what's your opinion on how we treat rarity of tracks?
So Sammy posed this question in Discord the other day, and I did a little bit of number crunching to see, like, I think you were asking, is this the biggest gap that we've ever had?
DK Pass,
between the different ones. Yeah, DK Pass, that was the one that we were asking about. And then, so I kind of did some stats about what's the biggest gap that each of these track families have had, and what's the current gap that this track family has had, and everything. But the biggest gap right now is actually Bowser's Castle 1. It hasn't been around.
Wow.
It hasn't been around. Sorry, that's the biggest gap. It's not the one that's current gap. But there was a time when Bowser Castle 1 wasn't around for 17 different tours. So that's 34 weeks.
Wow.
And that's a big jump. But right now, Marion Mountain is the biggest current gap with 13 tours. So it's about 26 weeks. You're right, 6 months, half a year. The DK Pass is second. Ghost Valley 1 is third with 10 tours, and
Ghost
Mario
Valley
Circuit 1.
Yeah.
And SNES Mario Circuit 1 is also third with 10 tours. So, I mean, there's an argument there that we haven't seen, certain tracks for a while, but just because we haven't seen a regular SNES track for 10, 12, 14 tours, does that mean it's now a city track? I mean, it's just, where's the definition?
Yeah.
And that's my problem with devaluing the cities so much. Like, we've seen Tokyo tracks come back like 2 times this year, and they'll come back for anniversary probably as well.
Right.
So I just take it with a little more of a grain of salt.
It's hard because you're right, Studfit. On my algorithm or in my spreadsheet, I very much weight these two things very differently. We have the total value, we have the assumed value, we have the non-city value. So, I mean, if there is a change, or if we decide to change this up, it will drastically affect the outcomes of the different things we do. But I don't know if there's any clear-cut answer, because
maybe Rosalina Detective, number 1 driver in the game.
I mean,
we know it's coming.
It's got that one's got so many city tracks. It's got 14 city tracks out of the 27 that it has. So, I mean, if you all of a sudden make these city tracks equal weight with the non-cities, I mean, it's gonna bump up a lot of these characters. So, I don't know. It's just what we decided to do. I think it's what we're comfortable with. But I mean, the question is there whether this needs a change or not. And we always look for things that might need a change.
Right.
But right now, I'm not convinced that that the change is needed, and maybe it'll happen down the road, but that's not where we're at. I think at this point.
That's a good baseline, as long as people just kind of keep in mind that things change, and there might be this city, there might be that city, and keep it all on your mind at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you heard my theory during the rundown of pointing out that Peach happy to get a lot of cities, but she also got a lot of tracks in general, and that may be leading to they're not having a city track being revealed in the next 2 or 3 tours. I do think that they're going to give us a little bit of a break. That's my prediction. Totally could be wrong. I've been wrong.
Interesting. And by the way, for listeners, we're recording this a few hours before the tour reveal.
Yeah.
It might be fun to do this next time, like after the tour reveal, so we could kind of dish on it. But right now, we don't know. I'm going the opposite way. I'm predicting a new city tour next tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out probably by the time. I'm probably looking like an idiot right now by the time people watch this.
We'll see.
So, second part to Hero's question. I know we're actually winding down this, but can you believe it's been almost 2 hours? How crazy is that, man?
It's fun.
Second part to Hero's question. Having said that,
so he gets a 2-parter though.
He does get. Yes, I wanted to get your feedback before I slammed part 2 in there and can get your initial feedback. But having said that, were there any 100 pipes you regretted pulling on? I think Tabor alluded to this a little bit earlier as to what his was, but and then he actually asked a third part. Maybe I'm wrong here, but let's go ahead and answer that one. having said that, were there, looking back at this past year, we talked about pipes, tours we didn't necessarily like and tours we did like. Were there any pipes that you didn't like? A pipe where you regretted going into that 100 pipe?
I mean, people who've been watching my channel will probably agree. I mean, I went way deep for Builder Mario. At the time, like, I don't know why. That was purely aesthetic, you know. And I really, the player now that I am, I wouldn't do that again. But I truly believe that all pulls, you know, they get you further in the game. Who knows what else I leveled up during those pulls and how many coins I got that helps me get to the next pipe, you know. And I survived, you know. I haven't used Builder Mario for sure.
Like story, yeah.
Technically, like, it has not paid off for me to really have him. It doesn't really. He's sitting around doing nothing. But I feel pretty good about my resume with which pipes I've chosen to go all the way in on.
Tabor?
Yeah, so for me, I alluded to...
was that it? That one was it?
I don't know. I don't know if I really regret any. I mean, what you might regret today, you find out that, you know, what you got, even though it wasn't what you were aiming for, it ends up being better than what you needed in the long run. So I don't really look at any of my pipes with regret. I don't really pull very much, but when I do pull, and if I don't get what I want, then, I mean, I might kind of like, darn it, but I'm not going to, like, you know, mull over it for years and wonder what I did. So I rarely pull with my rubies, and especially, I don't know how long it's been since I've went all the way into a pipe. It's been a long time. But no, I don't necessarily have any regrets on these.
Okay. And then I think for myself, I think as we were coming into level 7, I needed coins, and there's a number of pipes that I went into that I was like, I just needed the coins, and like the special pipe went away or something. I just needed the coins because I was trying to play a game where I was like, I don't want to pull anything if I don't have to. But at the same point in time, one of those pulls was on this Black Birdo pipe, and I ended up getting Black Birdo and Turbo Birdo Black. Black Turbo Birdo, which that cart now I have.
Great cart.
Great cart. But I didn't.
Amazing.
Like I only got it because I needed coins. So it's like it kind of shows you, it kind of proves the point that you guys are talking about, where it's like, you know, every pipe could be a good pipe. I mean, there might be people that pulled on for Rosalina, Fire Rosalina, and are like, you know, have been rejoicing over this past 6 months, 9 months, however long it's been. So I actually want to take this question that we kind of talked about. Sammy, you mentioned there maybe being a city tour next tour, or at least cities being a part of the next tour. I know you've traveled a lot in your career. Where is somewhere that you've been that you believe would make an excellent location for a future city track? This question's from edietel. I love this question. I'm really excited to hear your answer. I know you've traveled quite a lot, Sammy.
Well, I'll refer you to my Kart Life video, top 5 city wish list that's out there. Did do a video on that topic, which included Sydney in the top 5.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, but we'd already found the Sydney ferry hidden in there in that challenge. But I think the others I threw out were Rome. Got to go to Italy, man. Their plumbers are Italian brothers. You got it. And there's Luigi Painter top shelf again, or returning for week 2.
Yeah.
And then you come up with some other cool stuff. Rome would be amazing. But then obviously, you know, the one.
You have Gladiator Mario.
Gladiator Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have to. Let me go real fast because there's a lot. Not cities, but just I could talk about this topic forever. But I had this idea, like, for the Olympics. I was just brainstorming, like, what's the coolest thing they could do for an Olympic themed tour? And I was like, Athens, but ancient Athens. And I was like, that would be so cool if they did like ancient Athens track. So not like a contemporary city, but like a city from the past. I thought that was just a fun idea.
So Athens Mario and he's naked?
Oh, yeah, my.
Just like...
That's what the original Olympians were. They were,
but you could go like the Greek god route. You know, you have DK Zeus, or Rosalina Athena or something. You know, I mean, it would be great. Yeah. But but I
Sorry,
mean, I
too
think
many images.
what's the one thing the fan base will not stop talking about? That little pyramid hidden at the bottom corner of that first load screen. Whether it means desert tracks that may just normally come, we still don't have, other than Calamari, which is like an American Southwest. But we don't have a true desert track, and Cairo would be sick, man. I put that in my wish list as well. To go to like a more underdeveloped city, we were going to these great, thriving metropolises usually, but it would be cool to go somewhere, or like somewhere like Iceland where it's totally desolate or something. I don't know. There's a lot it could do. Of course, Amsterdam and Bangkok both kind of found in the data mining files. I think those would be likely, and then we can't go too much longer without Rome. So I am hoping for Rome pretty soon.
Okay, yeah. What do you think, Tabor?
I had 3 things down. Cairo was on my list. That was number 1, just because of that little pyramid that they tease us with that they're not doing anything with. The second one was, I thought Mexico City would be a good one.
Okay.
Also on my list.
Yeah, somewhere down south. And then just to stay stateside, I thought maybe Chicago tour would be good.
Oh,
Chicago, San Francisco would be rad with all the hills.
Yeah.
I thought Oh, go ahead.
They're going to do more U.S. cities. I mean, they've already done the 2. They'll probably do a third one, like maybe once a year. Who knows?
Yeah, I think South Beach, like South Beach, Miami, would be awesome.
Nice.
I think that would be, and of course Pittsburgh. You got the 3 rivers there. You got going up, the hills, coming down into the water, like over the water, over the bridges. There's more bridges in Pittsburgh than any other city, including.
I think they need a billboard with your shirt on it, with that shirt logo on it too. And
Which shirt logo? Oh, this one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
For all our That's
right.
Super Stud members, yes.
Yeah.
No, I think I've done a lot of traveling, but all here in the United States. I have done some traveling outside the United States, but not a lot. Cairo obviously was on my list. I think there could be some like jungle, like Amazon type style, Brazil or something like.
Well, Bangkok has the tropical vibe. Like that would be a really cool vibe. I gotta say, and just something that no one's going to want to hear. But if they did 2 U.S. tracks, they might do 2 Japan tracks. I could honestly see them doing like a Kyoto track, a smaller city in Japan. I know no one wants that. I think it would be cool, but you remember, Nintendo's a Japanese company. Think about how much love they've shown toward their home country, and that's a big thing.
So how do you think? Do you think we'll ever have like a Hong Kong or something in China, which is
sure?
Because I think that there's like I know that there are a couple people in ER that are in China, but they're in Hong Kong. Hong Kong used to be owned by England, but if you are in China, unless you're in Hong Kong, you can't play Mario Kart Tour. Yeah. So like it's illegal. Like you cannot download the game.
There might be issues there. I mean, I know that during COVID, a lot of the reason why people thought there weren't as many cities tracks is because of Japan's extreme sensitivity culturally to these kinds of issues. And they are their culture, the way they run their business, everything. It is one of great sensitivity towards their other countries. The just what's the right thing to do. I mean, I think they did kind of hold back on the city tracks. I don't know though. Maybe they always planned it this way because we're still kind of getting the same rate. In fact, we're on track to not have as many cities in year 2 as we did in year 1, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
That's why I think one's coming. I mean, we got the 2 original tracks, so you could think of those 2. But I think we all expected more cities by now, and the reality is they're kind of rare. They come every 3 to 5 months. And there's a lot of great things they could do. But people will always hate on them because of the loadout thing. They're pretty regularly getting a bad rap now. People don't like them, which I find to be a shame. I wish there was a way to like you said, bring them in more regularly, just kind of integrate it as it's the theme of the game. It's what's so cool about the idea of the game.
Yeah, my personal opinion is just throw 3 tracks in there. Out of the 36, just have 3 tracks that are a city. Let's all have fun. All right. This might actually be our last question as we come up on our full 2 hours. We might even be over it. I don't see any ticker on here. But which driver kart glider introduced during this summertime celebrations. Questions from KnightRoso. I love it. Which one, if any, do you think will be eventually in the top 15? We have for the drivers, Daisy Swimwear, Mario Baseball, Peach Happy. For the carts, we have Sunny Surf Sailor, Pinch Hitter, Cleanup Hitter, Dark Hop Rod. Then for the gliders, we have Sunny Surf Master, Polka Dot Manta Glider, Home Field Glider, Gold Home Field Glider, Springtime Crane, and Yukata Ribbon, which I think
I know
Tabor's.
both of y'all's. Yeah, I know both of y'all's answers.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and answer for all three of us?
Studfit's going Dark Hop Rod. Tabor's going Yukata Ribbon, but there might be others for both of you.
I know where you're going.
I think we're all assuming Peach Happy.
He's going Peach Happy. Yeah,
but I would also just say that
no, I thought Sammy was going to say Gold Home Field Glider.
That's what I was going to say. I think we would unanimously agree that it's most likely Gold Home Field Glider will rise just because of the special pipe spotlights. It's almost exactly a repeat of the King Balam rate, So
being a spotlight by itself, and no, I agree. I agree that what I do think happens, and I just noticed this because I pull on a lot of these special pipes, is that, and I this came up in a couple servers around the Black Toby and balloons too, is that like oftentimes when they release a pack, they kind of like bump up the value of that item. They feature a lot of tracks that has this item, and it makes it really attractive. Like, oh man, if I just got this glider, I would have this, this, and this. Makes it really, really attractive. Then like the tour after, it's not really well incorporated, and it may or may not be incorporated, in the future. But its value is like peaking right at that moment. However, with the pipes, I see the value of things, especially new introduced. Like that is a strong value for a long period of time. I think some of the things that stand out for me is like the Wild Pink. It was released in that pipe, and it's been obviously an awesome card. But like we see this all the time, King Babam Gold, like where you have a featured new item in a special pipe, along with other great items, and everyone knows that people are going to pull on it. Like those items will peak, and it's okay to invest in those a little early. I think the Gold Field Glider, especially with how many awesome things were in that pipe, and the new people were pulling. I think that's the biggest thing for me is like Nintendo knows that the new people pulled on it. So the new people are going to have a powerful glider more than the whales, and that's rare to happen, right? Because the whales passed on that pipe probably more than other pipes because they had stuff at level 7. There's high coin for Ruby, but like the new people went on it probably more than whales in general, hypothetically.
Interesting.
So just putting that out there. Yeah. So, but I think that answers most of those questions, right? Anything else stand out there? Like Mario Baseball, Peach Happy. I think we all kind of want to do well there. Sunny Surf Sailor. What about the two little pinch hitter, cleanup hitters? How do you feel about this, Sammy?
I mean, I don't know. The problem is there's just so many carts. There's more carts than anything else, right? More carts than
cranes, technically, and this.
So I just mean it in general. Okay. It's hard to predict those. I mean, the most recent example is the hop rods. We've talked about that. You had the 2 variations. Now we got a third. We might have a third baseball cart in 6 months. Who knows? But I have no idea, man. I have no idea. I don't even remember if I bought. I think I did buy it in honor of the Team USA World Cup Mario Kart champ. But I have no idea.
All right. Well, good guys. What a fun way to end the tour.
It's like the anticlimactic ending. I have no idea. Well, nobody knows.
I mean, I will say people were really excited about the Polka Dot Manta Glider, and it has not necessarily at this point fulfilled those promises. So we'll see. I'm keeping an eye on that. But we had a fun time talking. We had Jeeves pop in for a little bit. We talked a little bit about cities that could have come out. We talked about packs. We talked about a lot of different things. This always is so much fun. I cannot believe we passed through 2 whole hours together. Yeah. We could probably go on for another 2 hours. But thank you guys for jumping on. It's late. It's well past my bedtime. So I can't thank you guys enough for jumping on. And I know the community loves this. So hopefully we'll keep it going on. Sammy, we'd love to have you as many times as you're available, especially awesome. if we can get some more kittens involved. That would be great, too.
Oh, yeah. Keep the cameos coming.
All right, guys. You want to say goodbye to the fans, but thank you guys for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the watch.
See you in the
may
next
the frenzy luck
next
be
tour.
with you.
For sure.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.